Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Choir Directors Academy channel. Have you ever looked at a choir and just wondered, how do they do that? Right? Everything is executed flawlessly. I mean, the sopranos, the altos, the tenors, everyone sings to gel. The choir sings with so much confidence. The musicians have so much confidence. And they're not even a mainstream choir. They're just a regular choir just like yours. And you wonder, how do they do that? Well, in this show, I will give you some helpful tips on how to choose a song for your choir. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome back. It's time to discuss that topic. But before we do that, I'm asking that you subscribe to this channel and hit that bell so that every time I do these little pop-up sessions, you will be notified and be able to glean from the information that I am giving. How to select songs for a choir is not as difficult as we make it seem. A lot of this you will see in my 10-minute pop-up sessions, that directing a choir is really not that hard, that people make it hard. But I'm here to translate all of this high-powered, high-level conversation down to everyday English so that you can understand. I've been there, okay? I've been that one on the other side, where I was a choir member and I was just followed. I sang in the church choir, I sang in concert choirs, and I sang in school choirs, college choirs. Everywhere there was a choir, I was there. But when you step on the other side, where you're leading the team, a whole new thought process has to come in. Because number one, you're the leader, so in a way, you're unique from everybody else that's singing, right? Why else would they choose you? If you have the same capabilities and you have the same skill set level as everybody else, they wouldn't choose you. But because you demonstrated that you got a little jump on everybody, so they choose you to lead the team. When you're there in that spot, your whole thinking of everything has to change, because everyone doesn't feel the same way you did when you were on that side, the other side of the teaching string. Number one, the most important thing you need to realize is the ability of everybody in the music department, okay? That starts, number one, with you. How are you when it comes to teaching? Are you confident? Are you able to teach the more difficult songs, right? The ability of your choir. Do you have a conglomerate of people who are like you, who can learn their own parts, who can sing very well and do a fantastic job? Your musicians as well? Or are they really on the uphill side of music? You have to have a plan for your choir. And there is a bottom, there is a midsection, and then there is an uphill part where the choir basically performs on their own. You don't have to do anything. You just tell them, okay, this is what we're singing Sunday. Okay, everybody will know their part, and you can freelance. You can do all these different things. But that takes a process. That's a process. That takes a plan, and that takes years to develop depending upon the people that you have. Of course, if you have a choir that's at the very lower end of the spectrum, like they're basically just a group of people who just want to sing in the choir. They're not professionals. They just want to sing. Okay, well, naturally, if you have that group, you should not touch Richard Smallwood or some of the more intellectually charged music, like Total Praise. Nah, you may not want to do that. If you have a group that has a hard time staying with the same note, you may want to start focusing on more of a monocratic song, or a song would I say unison. That's the better word. I'm saying monocratic because I'm thinking one color. But no, unison, you may want to do that. Like Dr. McAllister's song, Oh, give thanks. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord. He is good. Yes, he is good. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord. Now, that's pretty easy because most of the song you're singing in unison until you get to the end and you split three parts. You don't want anything too complex for it. All right, if your choir is kind of on that lower end, then that's where you start. That's not a bad thing. It's better to start there with a unison song, break out in parts, come back to unison, right? You can be creative. You don't have to do the song exactly the way she has it, but you do it as according to how your choir is able to comprehend and perform that song with confidence. Same thing with your musicians. If you got musicians who are just like really learning how to play, then you may not want to get them something from the Ricky Dillard album. So you may want to keep it simple, like some of Mississippi Mass songs are pretty simple with James Hall singing on the lead. Just something simple, nothing really complex with a lot of chords, flattened thirds and minor chords and all of that. You don't need all of that. You just need it to be simple. C, E, G. Just simple triad chord, right? That's what you want to do. And if you have a medium choir where people they can at least stay in tune, then, and your musicians are comparable in their skill set, and so are you, then you can pick something. You probably can tackle Total Praise or Strengthen Me, Dallas Fort Worth, Blessed Assurance. I mean, it's so many songs out there, all right, that you can choose from. Dr. Timothy Wright has a plethora of songs that are very, very easy for, a beginning choir to comprehend and understand and be able to sing as well, right? So you don't want to pick anything too complex where you frustrate them, because you can't do that. If you pick a song where you got to constantly go over the same part over and over and over, you will get frustrated, the choir will get frustrated, and then also the musicians. That is not a good thing. You don't want to do that. So you want to pick a song that is, it makes them think a little bit, but it's easy, right? You want to develop that confidence first. So that's why I said if your choir is on the lower spectrum, stick with more of the unison or basic harmony songs where there is, it's pretty much like kind of hard to mess it up, right? And then as they progress, because they're going to progress, trust me, I've been there. They started, when I walked in, they looked at me like, what is she doing? But I started there and progressively moved them up to where they can sing without music, a cappella, which is what we became known for, a cappella singing. So it's a process. So you want to make sure, A, you understand the abilities or the skill set of the people that are in your choir. B, you also want to take in conjunction with that the skill set of your musicians, right? And then your ability to translate or convey the music over to them, teach it to them, and get a desired return on your efforts, okay? Number 2, take in consideration the time frame. How much time do you have to teach them, right? If your choir rehearsal is only an hour, then you can't walk in there with 9 songs and expect to go through it if your choir is on the lower end of the tier. If they're in the middle, you might get through 5. If they're on the high end, you might get through 7 or 8, and you're doing real good. If you can cover 8 songs in an hour and 15 minutes, you all are on point. The average choir, when you go to rehearsal, maybe 2 or 3, right? And that's even if you gave them the song early enough. A lot of times I would give them, I've suggested this to all choir directors, give them the material early. Let them set up a playlist on YouTube or wherever. If everybody's on Apple, set up a playlist. Give everybody the song so they can learn the song as it is on the record. And that way everyone will learn the song, right? That will cut down on your rehearsal time. Because sometimes we don't think of things. We just get in a hurry and we see somebody else's choir, which flows back to what I said last week or so. Don't compare yourself to another choir. You can't do that. You have to build your own vineyard or your own group. Once you develop them, you get to the point where you don't have to do a lot of work. I got to that point. In the beginning, I worked hard, but as I learned how to maneuver and how to work with the time that I had and make things less time and labor intensive, it became better and they became fully functional. Everybody has to be trained. You just have to train the choir how you want them to be. So your second thing is to realize how much time you have. Thirdly, you have to remember your audience, right? If you belong to a traditional church, you may not can sit there and sing all praise and worship. If you go to a church that's predominantly CCM, you might not be able to get away with traditional music all of the time, right? I was blessed to be over the music department at a church where my pastor was eclectic. He loved all, whether it was Caribbean gospel, we couldn't go too far. Now, he wasn't into the rap and all of that kind of stuff, but it was like hymns, then it was the traditional gospel, it was the Caribbean flavored, it was, he wasn't like, you can't sing anything but this. And he wasn't like that. So I had like carte blanche. I could do a lot. You may not have that in your church. So make sure you understand who your audience is. We know our primary audience is the Lord, right? But you want to sing songs that are in line with the way that the church you are the minister of music. You want to make sure you're in line. You don't want to cause any disruption or confusion. So in that case, I would usually if you're selected from the group in the church, you are already familiar with what they are accustomed to. So your choice of music should surround that. Yeah, there are times you can throw something else in. My church was not really a praise and worship church. They're not really into CCM, but there were times that some music I could throw in there just to mix it up a little bit, and it was received. And then sprinkle a little something else in there that you know would be within the purview, right? You don't want to create havoc. Don't go back and say, well, I learned on the choir. She said, no. I didn't really remember what I'm saying. I am saying, it's okay to throw a little sprinkle in there anywhere you can, but make sure you stay within that purview. And if you implement these 3 things, I promise you will see a change. I hope I said something today that helped you understand things that you can implement in your music department to help them perform at that maximum level, no matter where they are, lower end, middle end, or the high side of the tier. We all want to do great. We all want great things to happen with our choir. We all want to be noted for a great sounding group of people. Nobody wants to be tagged. Don't call them. We'll call you. You don't want to be tagged. You want to be one of those choirs that does their best to sing to the glory of God, but you also are named among those that they can sing, they can carry too. We all love to hear that. So subscribe to this channel, share it with your friends, and hit that bell over here so that whenever I send a video, you will know and you can get your pen and paper out and learn. That's all I got today, everybody, for this 10-minute pop-up session. I hope you all have a great day and a great week. Love y'all.